The camera was on commercial break when the host of the 2003 MTV Video Music Awards, comedian Derek Phillips, turned to his writers in the wings and asked the question that would end up defining his career in the worst possible way. "What have we got for the Madonna introduction?" he asked. His head writer, a guy named Josh, who'd been writing late-night comedy for 10 years, handed him a card with 3 joke options. Derek read them, laughed at the third one, and said, "Perfect, this is going to kill." What Derek didn't know was that Madonna was sitting in the 3rd row, close enough to hear every word he was about to say. And what he really didn't know was that his perfect joke was about to become the most replayed moment in MTV Video Music Awards history, but not for the reasons he thought. It was August 28, 2003, at Radiant City Music Hall in New York City. The VMAs were in full swing, with performances from Britney Spears, Christina Aguilera, and Justin Timberlake. The energy was electric. The celebrities were packed into the historic venue, and the show was running smoothly. Madonna was there to present the award for Video of the Year. At 45 years old, she was still a dominant force in music, with a new album about to drop and a 20-year career that had redefined what it meant to be a female artist in the industry. She was wearing a simple black suit, her hair pulled back, looking elegant and powerful. Derek Phillips was there as the host, a comedian who'd made his name doing edgy stand-up and hosting a late-night cable show known for its irreverent humor. He'd been picked to host the VMAs specifically because MTV wanted someone who would push boundaries and create viral moments. He was about to create a viral moment, all right, just not the kind anyone wanted. The commercial break ended. The cameras went live. Derek stepped to the microphone with a big smile, ready to introduce Madonna's presentation. Okay, settle down," he said to the audience. "It's time to present the Video of the Year award, and we have a very special presenter. She's a legend, an icon, someone who's been doing this for, well, let's just say she's been doing this since most of you were in diapers." Light laughter from the audience. Standard age joke. Nothing unusual yet. Seriously though, Madonna is amazing. She's reinvented herself, 15 times? Which is impressive considering at her age, most women are just trying to figure out how to work their thermostats. The laughter got quieter. A few uncomfortable chuckles. In the audience, cameras caught several female celebrities shifting in their seats. Derek kept going, oblivious to the temperature change in the room. "No, but really, Madonna is here tonight, and we're so grateful. Because at 45, she could easily be at home, baking cookies for her grandkids, or learning to knit, or whatever it is women do when they're past their prime. But instead, she's here, still trying to be sexy, still wearing those cone bras from 1990. It's like watching your mom try to be cool at a high school party. Uncomfortable for everyone, but you've got to admire the commitment." The room went silent, not the good kind of silent before a big laugh, the bad kind of silent, where everyone suddenly realizes they're watching something go very, very wrong. Madonna's face, caught on the audience camera, didn't change expression. She just sat there, perfectly still, looking at Derek Phillips with an expression that could freeze nitrogen. Derek, still not reading the room, decided to go for what he thought would be the big closer. "But hey, Madonna, if you need any tips on how to age gracefully, just ask me. I'll connect you with my mom. She's about your age, and she's completely given up on trying to be attractive. It's very liberating for her. Maybe you should try it." The silence in Radio City Music Hall was deafening. 6,000 people, and you could hear a pin drop. And then Madonna stood up. She didn't storm the stage. She didn't yell. She just stood up in the 3rd row, in her simple black suit, and she waited. The camera operators, sensing that something important was happening, swung their cameras to her. The director, watching from the control room, made a split-second decision and put her on the main screen. Suddenly, Madonna's face was 40 feet tall on the screen behind Derek. Derek turned around and saw himself standing in front of a giant image of Madonna, looking at him with an expression that made it clear. He had made a catastrophic mistake. "Oh, hey Madonna," Derek said, trying to recover with humor. "Come on, it's just jokes. Don't be so sensitive." Madonna picked up the microphone that had been placed at her seat for a planned audience participation segment. Her voice, when she spoke, was calm, clear, and absolutely devastating. "I'm not being sensitive, Derek," she said. "I'm being patient. I'm waiting for the part where your jokes get funny." The audience erupted in applause and screams. Derek's smile faltered. "But while I'm waiting," Madonna continued, "let me ask you something. You're 38 years old, right?" Derek nodded, not sure where this was going. 38, and you're hosting the MTV Video Music Awards, which is great. Congratulations. But I'm curious, what do you think you'll be doing at 45? "Hopefully still making people laugh," Derek said, trying to regain control. "Right, still making people laugh, still being relevant, still having a career." Madonna's voice was like a surgeon's scalpel, precise, controlled, and cutting exactly where it needed to. "So it's interesting that you think women at 45 should be at home knitting, but men at 45 should still be at the height of their careers. Do you see the double standard there? Or do I need to draw you a diagram?" The applause was louder now. People were standing. Madonna wasn't done. "You said I'm past my prime. Let me tell you what I've done this year, Derek. I've released an album that debuted at #1 in 23 countries. I've directed a film. I've written a children's book. I've raised 3 kids, and I'm about to start a world tour that's going to gross $125 million. She paused, letting that sink in. "What have you done this year, Derek, besides host a 2-hour award show that you're currently bombing?" The place went absolutely insane. People were on their feet, screaming, applauding. Celebrity after celebrity was caught on camera laughing, clapping, pointing at Derek with expressions of pure schadenfreude. Derek's face had gone from cocky to pale to bright red. He was stammering, trying to form a response, but Madonna wasn't finished. "And that joke about asking your mom for tips on aging gracefully, here's a tip for you. When you're on stage making fun of someone for being old, maybe don't mention that your mom is the same age. Because all you're really saying is that you think your own mother is worthless, which says a lot more about you than it does about me." The audience was roaring now. Madonna had flipped the entire dynamic. She wasn't the target of the joke anymore. Derek was. "But you know what?" Madonna said, her voice softening just slightly. "I'm going to do you a favor. I'm going to come up there and present this award like I was supposed to. And you're going to stand there quietly and think about whether making fun of women for aging is really the hill you want your career to die on. Because Derek, I promise you, in 7 years, you'll be 45. And you're going to remember this moment. And you're going to realize that the only person you made look old and irrelevant tonight was yourself." She started walking toward the stage. The entire audience was on their feet, applauding. As she passed Britney Spears in the front row, Britney reached out and squeezed her hand. Christina Aguilera was crying. Justin Timberlake was shaking his head in disbelief. Madonna climbed the stairs to the stage. Derek was frozen, holding the microphone, not knowing what to do. Madonna walked right up to him, took the microphone gently from his hand, and said quietly, but still loud enough for the mic to pick up, "You can go now." Derek walked off stage. The cameras caught him leaving, his face a mask of humiliation. He would never host another major awards show. Madonna turned to the audience, composed herself, smiled, and said, "Now, let's give this award to someone who actually deserves it." What happened in the days and weeks after that moment became legendary in entertainment history. Within an hour of the show ending, the clip of Madonna's response had been uploaded to every early social media platform available. This was 2003, before YouTube, before Twitter, before viral videos were even really a thing. But that clip found its way onto message boards, email chains, early video sharing sites, and entertainment news shows around the world. MTV replayed it 17 times in the 24 hours after the show. Entertainment Tonight ran it as their lead story. Every late-night show played the clip. The headline, "Madonna Destroys Sexist Host at VMAs," was on the front page of entertainment news sites for a week. But the real impact was deeper than just viral fame. The next day, Derek Phillips issued a public apology. "I made a terrible mistake last night. My jokes were sexist, ageist, and completely inappropriate. Madonna was right to call me out, and I'm deeply sorry." But the apology didn't save him. Within a week, his late-night show was canceled. The official reason was creative differences, but everyone knew the truth. Sponsors had pulled out, ratings had tanked, and the network couldn't afford to be associated with someone who'd become a symbol of sexist comedy in the age of increasing awareness about gender discrimination. Derek's career never recovered. He worked for a few more years doing small club gigs, but every time he performed, someone would inevitably ask about that time Madonna destroyed you. Eventually, he left comedy altogether and became a real estate agent in Phoenix. But Madonna's impact went beyond just ending Derek's career. The incident sparked a broader conversation about sexism in entertainment, about the double standards women face as they age, and about how comedy can be edgy without being discriminatory. MTV issued a formal apology to Madonna and announced new guidelines for award show hosts. "Comedy should challenge power, not reinforce discrimination," their statement read. "We failed in our responsibility to create an inclusive environment, and we're committed to doing better." Other award shows followed suit. The Grammys, the Oscars, the Golden Globes, all of them quietly instituted new policies about host material, requiring jokes to be reviewed by diversity consultants and establishing consequences for hosts who cross the line from edgy to discriminatory. Female comedians and actresses who'd been subjected to similar treatment for years spoke out in support of Madonna. Tina Fey wrote an op-ed in the New York Times titled "Thank You, Madonna," about the pressures women face to remain forever young, while men are allowed to age into distinguished. Ellen DeGeneres dedicated a segment of her show to discussing ageism in Hollywood. The moment became a teaching tool. Film studies professors showed the clip when discussing representation in media. Women's studies courses analyzed it as an example of how to confront sexism with grace and power. Comedy writing classes used it as a case study in how not to write jokes about women. 5 years later, in 2008, Derek Phillips gave an interview to a small podcast about his biggest career regret. "I thought I was being edgy," he said. "I thought making fun of Madonna's age would be funny because, she's famous, she's powerful, she can take it. But what I didn't understand was that I wasn't making fun of Madonna. I was making fun of every woman who's ever been told she's too old, too past her prime, too irrelevant because she had the audacity to age while being female." The interviewer asked if he'd learned anything from the experience. "I learned that punching down isn't comedy. It's cruelty. Madonna was right. Comedy should challenge power, not reinforce discrimination. I was making fun of her for being a powerful woman over 40, which is exactly what society already does to women every single day. I wasn't being brave or edgy. I was being a coward, hiding behind 'it's just a joke' to say things that I knew were wrong." He paused. "And I learned that some people are smarter, faster, and more articulate than you. When you come for Madonna, you better be prepared for her to come back, because she will destroy you with intelligence and grace, and you'll deserve every second of it." Today, the clip of Madonna's response has been viewed over 300 million times across various platforms. It's been analyzed, memed, celebrated, and taught. It's been called the moment that changed award shows, the most powerful comeback in live television history, and the speech that launched 1,000 conversations about ageism. Madonna herself rarely talks about it, but in a 2015 interview, When asked about the incident, she said something that perfectly captured why that moment mattered so much. "Derek thought he was making fun of me," she said. "But he wasn't. He was making fun of the idea that women have an expiration date. That we're only valuable when we're young and conventionally attractive. That our contributions stop mattering once we hit some arbitrary age that society has decided is past our prime." She smiled. "I didn't destroy Derek Phillips that night. He destroyed himself. I just held up a mirror and made him look at what he was really saying. And what he was saying was ugly, not funny, not edgy, just ugly. And when you expose ugliness for what it is, people see it. They can't unsee it, and they stop laughing." The interviewer asked if she felt any sympathy for Derek, whose career had never recovered. "I feel sympathy for anyone who loses their career," Madonna said, "but I don't feel responsible for it. He made a choice to build his comedy on punching down at women. I made a choice to punch back. Those are two very different things. One reinforces discrimination. The other challenges it. His career ended because people realized they didn't want to reward discrimination anymore. That's progress, not tragedy." In 2019, MTV celebrated the 40th anniversary of the Video Music Awards with a special retrospective. When they asked viewers to vote on the most memorable moment in VMAs history, Madonna's 2003 response to Derek Phillips won by a landslide. Not the Britney and Madonna kiss, not Kanye interrupting Taylor Swift. Madonna, standing in the audience, calmly dismantling sexism with precision and power. The show's producers interviewed dozens of people for the retrospective about why that moment resonated so powerfully. "It was the first time a lot of us had seen someone articulate what we'd been feeling," said Amy Poehler. "That double standard where men get distinguished and women get old." Madonna said it out loud, on live TV, in front of millions of people. And she said it so perfectly that there was no arguing with it. "I was there that night," said Christina Aguilera, "and I remember thinking, this is what power looks like. Not yelling, not losing your cool, just standing up and saying, with perfect clarity, what you just said is wrong, here's why, and here's what it says about you." It was a masterclass. Today, if you go to comedy clubs or watch award shows, you'll notice something. Jokes about women aging have largely disappeared from mainstream comedy. Not completely, there are still comedians who go there. But they're the exception now, not the rule. And when they do it, audiences don't laugh the way they used to. That change didn't happen because of one moment, but that one moment accelerated it. Madonna's response gave people the language to articulate why those jokes weren't funny. It gave women permission to stop laughing politely at their own dehumanization. And it gave the industry a reason to change, because after that night, everyone knew, make a sexist joke about a woman's age, and you might end up like Derek Phillips. The clip still circulates every few months, usually when some celebrity says something sexist and someone responds with, "Remember what happened to Derek Phillips?" It's become shorthand for, be careful what you say, because the person you're making fun of might be smarter and more powerful than you think. If you've ever been told you're too old, too past your prime, or too irrelevant because of your age, this story is for you. Share it with someone who needs to hear that aging isn't a failure. It's an achievement. Subscribe for more stories about women who refuse to accept society's arbitrary expiration dates. And remember, when someone tries to make you feel small for aging, ask yourself, what has Madonna done at 45? And what have they done? The answer usually tells you everything you need to know about whose opinion actually matters.